this is something I really wanted to get into because, frankly, this is where I first became familiar with you, Ring of Honor.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we talked about TNA and how you were there early on, and we talked about how the landscape changed with WWE or with WCW and ECW shutting down, and then
Yeah.
how TNA, Ring of Honor, and other indies started cropping up and kind of not taking this place because it was a very different situation, but they were filling the void to an extent.
It opened the market some.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't one of those things where like the mentality prior to WCW and ECW closing was like, hey, there's plenty of work out there. There's
A little technical glitch there. Like we were saying, Ring of Honor and TNA were popping up right after WWE and WC, or I keep saying that WCW and ECW shut down, and it didn't fill the void, but you're saying it was opening up opportunities. Could you expand on that?
yeah. So there was the mentality when I first broke in that there was three companies that you can get on with and have a full-time gig, and that's your job, and you're a pro wrestler. And then when WCW and ECW fell by the wayside, a lot of work vanished. Just because we're talking over 100 spots don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
So even there's that trickle down effect where the guys from WCW that didn't sign with WWE but it's still working are now taking the indie spots. So
Mm-hmm.
the guys on the indies, are losing spots because there's bigger names out there. Like
Yeah.
I use this name just because, and I love this guy to death, honestly. But like Buff Bagwell was a local Georgia guy, and after his WWE run, which was all of 3 months, he started popping up on Georgia indies every weekend. Like, and I got to know Buff pretty well. Like, and I think he's a great dude. But uh, when a Buff Bagwell's on your show, that means there's a lot less guys that are available on the undercard because Buff's going to command more money.
Mm-hmm.
So you're either taking a giant pay cut or you're not booked. And that's just kind of the trickle down effect of those companies closing. But once TNA opened up and Ring of Honor, and I'd even say more so Ring of Honor, just because TNA is a Wednesday gig.
Yeah.
So all those guys are still taking weekend bookings to supplement their income because those first couple of years of TNA, I mean, those guys weren't making a healthy living
Yeah.
just off the Nashville shows. So they were making towns like the rest of us too. But with Ring of Honor now, it's out with the old and with the new. It's all this young crop of guys that were hungry and ready, and determined to prove that they could be primetime players. And they were now getting a shot without the guys like a Buff Bagwell eating up, the money and the time.